Hey, what's going on? This is Hassan Reds coming to you directly live from Washington, D.C., wherever you are and however you may be listening. We are live. It's been a while. It's been a while. Welcome to Two Cents. We are live coming to you directly from Washington, D.C., wherever you are and however you may be listening. I am excited to come and chat with you today. If you're there, say what's up, click the comments. If you're streaming directly, I'm streaming directly into the Real Estate Marketing Mastermind group if you're watching this later. So you can go to Facebook, go to the Real Estate Marketing Mastermind group, and then you will be able to see this and dozens and dozens of other videos about real estate marketing trends, and ultimately how to set appointments, how you can get on the phone with more people more frequently so that you can grow your business. So I interview experts in the space. I interview top producing real estate agents, real estate brokers, real estate teams from all around the US and Canada. And that's what we bring to you today on Two Cents. What's going on, Tyler? How you doing? What's going on, man? If you can see me and you can hear me, then one of the things I want to do throughout this conversation that we're going to have over the next 30 to 45 minutes is actually be able to engage with you. So if you can see me now, just press that little button right above that says, "Hey, I'm streaming from Ecan Live. Allow the host to see you." Because when you comment, if you don't press that button, I'm not going to be able to see your face or your name. I'll just be able to see your comment. So if you want me to see your face and your name and give you a shout out the same way I just did my buddy Tyler there, then make sure you press that button. So today got a great guest, one of the top producing real estate brokers in Canada. And we're going to come to you. We're going to share some really interesting kind of tidbits, not only goals, strategies, but also some tactics, some very practical things you can do to grow your business. Jared has ultimately, over the past few years, grown his website traffic to over 30,000 visitors per month. And so we're going to dive into that a little bit as we go. We're going to pull back the onion and share some really valuable things for you so that you can go and take it to your business. Hey, Sheila, what's going on? Bonnie, how you doing? Great to see you. Great to see you. Give me a shout out if you are there because I'm going to be able to pop into the Facebook group. One of the first things I want you to do, Tyler, Sheila, Bonnie, whoever else is out there, I want you to download that infographic. I put it in the first comment because one of the things that Jared is going to do later is he's going to go over that infographic because it's going to help him explain some of the concepts that he's talking about. And we're going to walk through that a little bit later on. So you don't have to do it now, but just kind of keep that in mind as we continue. Bonjour. Bonjour, Stuart. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. We got you, Michelle. Hey, how you doing? Great. Great to see all the people who are showing up. Give a thumbs up, give a like, and we're about to dive in. And so let me introduce my buddy Jared. There he is. Hey, what's going on, Jared? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So
Good.
just take a moment and tell everybody who are you? Who is Jared Chamberlain?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Well, I'm another bald man, so that's where we can start there, I guess. Let's start there.
Welcome to the club, man.
Well, I actually realized the other year that I've been bald longer than I wasn't bald. So
Yes.
been shaving it forever, so it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. No, but myself, my name is Jared Chamberlain. I run a real estate brokerage up here in Calgary in Alberta, which is in Canada. So for those of you that don't know where that is, we are essentially north of Montana. And so for us, we've been doing real estate for 16, we're going into our 16th year in September,
Really?
17th year, something like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, so my wife and I, our journey, our quick story is we started real estate back in, it must have been '04, something like that,
Hmm.
and just kind of doing it ourselves and figuring it out, and brought on assistants, and her and I doing kind of a team thing, and we have different strengths, so we were always playing on those strengths,
Hmm.
and then we started having kids 2010, so around 2009, so just over 10 years ago,
Hmm.
is when we started going down the team route, because we're like, we can't do this on our own, and we got to figure out how to do it better with people around us. And
Hmm.
so for the last 10 years, been doing that, and we've gone through a couple bigger brokerages in terms of up here we were with Remax at first, and then to Royal LePage,
Yeah.
and then It'll be 2 years, 2.5 years. We've been our own independent brokerage. So it's just our team inside of our brokerage right now, and that's about it.
Great. I love it. So,
Yeah.
what's kind of interesting about that is it doesn't seem like you started off with the goal of, I want to grow a big team, I want to have a big brokerage. It was kind of
No.
like organic. You was like, well, hey, look, you
Yeah.
know what? We're doing well by ourselves, but we just had kids and we want to spend more time with the family. We can't do everything ourselves, so let's start a team.
Yeah, and I think the whole, I mean, that was kind of, it never was the goal at the beginning.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really at the beginning, I mean, really for us, it was just starting to help people. I
Yeah.
mean, we came from our background. My background actually,
Yeah.
it comes from church ministry. So I was a youth pastor before this,
Hmm.
and that's where my wife and I met. She got into real estate. I joined after, and so we kind of had that natural. Let's go serve people. Let's go help people.
Yeah.
And that really helped us along the way. I mean, we can get into team dynamics and stuff as well as web
Yeah.
stuff, but the where that problem came in the last couple of years for us is we kept putting people in our backpack, and this is our analogy,
Hmm.
and we just kept saying, "Yeah, we'll carry you, come with
Yeah.
us."
Yeah.
And we realized this a couple of years ago that 15 years later, we've just been putting people in our backpack,
Yeah.
and so finally we've positioned our team, positioned the brokerage in terms of splits and
Hmm.
how things, all this kind of basically
Yeah.
be come beside us, walk with us.
Yeah.
Let's do this together. let's not. I can't carry you anymore, but let's all
Yeah.
do this together. And through that, in the last year, it's really brought out some amazing agents
Hmm.
on our team, hungry, driven,
Hmm.
and it's also weeded out the people who shouldn't be here
Yeah.
anymore. So that's been really exciting too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I always think it's a great thing to be authentically you, just be who you are, because you're going
yeah,
to attract and repel, right? There's two things that's going to happen. You're going to attract people
absolutely,
who should be with you on your journey, and you're going to repel people who shouldn't. Uh, like,
yeah.
talk to me a little bit about your marketing background. So one of the things, so I know Sheila, she's here. She's um, Sheila, how long have you been a business owner? I know you and your husband, you run a restaurant. You've been in real estate for a long time. So Sheila and her husband, they've been business owners for a long time, but she's also a master marketer, right? So she really thinks about
Okay,
brand. She really thinks about the experience. Talk to me a little
yeah.
bit about your marketing background and kind of how that's positioned you differently in real estate.
Um, mine. Have you heard of duct tape marketing? It was like
Mhm.
it's an older brand that was around for years, and I feel like that has been my background
Mhm.
in some senses. Is just been learning as we go,
Mhm.
but it's been 15 years of learning on the job and figuring it out, and I think. Having the background that we do and caring about the client experience,
Mhm.
it all does start somewhere. And so I feel like we've kind of duct taped our way, bootstrapped our way, and just kind of scrappy almost versus anything authentic, right? Where not authentic, it's more authentic, but I think anything like I went to school for this and did
Yeah.
this and whatever. It's just been learning as we go, and I think um, caring about the client's end result ultimately you have to start somewhere, and the clients need to know, like, and trust you.
Mhm.
And so if they don't know you, they're not gonna. If they don't know you, they're never gonna go further,
For
right?
sure.
But then they gotta like you once they know who you are,
Mhm.
and once they start liking you, then there's gonna be trust built, and at that point, that's when they're gonna start working with you.
Mhm.
And I think, and that's what we talk about in our team so much, is how do we move people through a know, like, and trust funnel
Yeah.
quickly, as quickly as they're open to it
Mhm.
is the bigger part of that. And so I think it comes down to a lot of things. Again, it's like what you said. They're going to attract or repel, and so us being more authentically who we are is going to attract individuals like that as well.
Mhm.
So like during COVID, the things that we do for some of our clients, like we do a lot of events, and we've done that forever and ever. And coming into COVID, things are shut down. We're like, what do we do? We had a big family date night
Mhm.
planned,
Mhm.
and in this family date night, clients would come. pick up pizzas, a whole date package,
Yeah.
go home, and do this. That's kind of one of the things that we've done annually.
Yeah.
And so we were like, this can't stop. We got to figure this out. So we redid things, rejigged things, and for 2 days, our whole team, like, just unselfishly drove around the city. We mapped it all out, and we delivered all these packages to people.
Wow.
And so those kind of things, that's who we are. But again, the know, like, and trust, that has to happen, because people trust us once they're in our world. But if they don't know who you are, they're never going to have a chance to like you
Yeah.
or trust you or refer you. And so caring about that process, it all starts online.
Yeah.
My marketing journey, I think, started, I'm going to say, like 2007, 2006 is when video was starting to happen. I would drive around with flip cams.
I
I would
remember.
put my flip, yeah, I'm just trying to think back now. I would put my flip cam in the car as I'm driving. If you go to our web channel and go to like the oldest videos, they're horrible. But it was me driving around talking about topics in between appointments.
Yeah.
And to me, I realized at that point that helped people go through that know, like, and trust funnel quicker. And I didn't have to do it myself. Or I did it, but I didn't have to sit in front of them, knee to knee, across the table. But then we'd have people all of a sudden reaching out saying, hey, like, you're talking, check this out, or look at
Yeah.
this. And so it's been an interesting journey going through that. And to today, it's the same thing. How we build our website, how people find us, the experience that they see, the user experience online, does it match with what they're going to see and actually live out when they do a transaction with the team? And that whole process has been really important to us. And I think, and it does turn into a numbers game, but how do you, I think the question that we keep asking ourselves is, how do you make the funnel at the top really big?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you build systems that come up to the tree? Let's pretend it's a tree, lots of leaves. And then you build systems that come up to the tree and it shakes the tree, and you've got stuff that falls. And those leaves that are falling, how do we pick up those leaves in terms of knowing what to do with them, and now we know who to talk to instead of trying to talk to all of these leaves, right? And so it's been a journey for sure, going through this, but I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
Yeah, it does. One of the I picked up a couple of things there. One is that even to this day, you still do events. And so meeting people
oh
face
yeah,
to face is an important part of your business. And so one of the things that you had to think about is during COVID, right? One of the things I share all the time is it's never a good time to panic. This may be a pandemic, but it's never a good time to panic in business and in life. So during this
yeah,
process, you figure out how to zig when everyone else was zagging. And so you started a different kind of way to execute on your strategy, different tactics to execute
yeah.
on your strategy, which is still to build relationships with folks. So I'm wondering, Sean, hey man, hey, great to see you, Sean. I'm wondering how many folks out there, Amanda, uh, Michelle, Bonnie, Sheila, Tyler. I wonder how many folks out there are still kind of figuring out ways to do events in their business. I would be interested to know that. Just put it in the comments. Another thing I picked up is that um, you really talked about the experience that you're thinking about creating
Mm.
for your users, but whether it's people that you meet in person at the grocery store, or it's people who go to your website. Right now, you have more than 30,000 home buyers per month who visit your website.
Yeah.
Why is that important? In the US, there's Zillow, there's Realtor.com, Homes.com. You have all
Yeah.
of these people. Why is it so important for you to build that community of getting people to your website?
A lot of reasons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, when we started on our journey of marketing online,
Hmm.
it really came down to my original thoughts and plans and going into online marketing was, why why try to do something when Google can change it,
Mm-hmm.
and then we lose what we've done? So let's just go buy all of these leads. Let's go and just purchase them,
Mm-hmm.
figure out what that is, get them to come in, and then we work with them. Well, everyone's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
so saturated, it's
Yeah.
so full.
Yeah.
And we've gone through them all. I mean, we were the first ones to bring up Boomtown
Mm-hmm.
to Calgary, and specifically our city. So we had to work with the board to get them on board, and it took months to figure that out.
Wow.
We were the first one. We left Boomtown and went to Commissions Inc. because it worked better with Infusionsoft, and we were using Infusionsoft as essentially like
Yeah.
a full-time assistant in our business, and I had that thing humming like
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Until there was one day, funny story, one of our agents, he hated Infusionsoft, like he just hated it, and the processes and blah blah blah, and he somehow something popped up, and he ended up they're like, what do you think of it? And he's like, it's such a shitty, excuse my French, such a shitty program. And then someone reached out to me and they're like, are you okay? And I was like, no, it's all good. Anyways, but we went through all of these things to figure it out, and about 3.5 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I was sitting there and I saw this report that was talking about 70% of buyers
Mm-hmm.
will skip over the ads
Mm-hmm.
and look at the organic results,
Wow.
where 15% of those people, roughly 10 to 15%, will click on an ad, and then another 10 or 15% will just abandon their searches. So it's about 70 to 75 will skip over.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me rethinking that whole process, because the thing is, if you've got if you like, for us in our city, it's really competitive online,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know why, but a lot of it. So if there's 2,000 websites that are doing pay-per-click searches and pay-per-click ads, and we don't really have the Zillow and that stuff up here yet. I mean, it's working its way.
Mm-hmm.
But which is the same. It's all these ads. You're buying ads. It doesn't matter who it's from. You're purchasing ads,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's pay-per-click, whether it's whatever. You're buying ads.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of a sudden you end up having that many people and agents going after these ads and trying to get them, you've got 70% of people who are searching for stuff who are not clicking on that.
Mm.
So why am I, who really cares about the end result of the client and the actual process they're going through? Like, if I could show you the sign that's out front of our office here right now, it actually says, "You deserve to love where you live, and we love to help." Like, that's a big part of what we do, and so it just made me realize, going, why am I fighting for 15% of this traffic with ads? Now, wherever that is. Now, Zillow and stuff might be a little bit different, but again, you're buying ads.
Yeah.
And so we're better than that. We deserve better. So what does that process look like? And that's when we started going down this SEO journey, just because it was great. And I think now, being on the other side, and we're growing our site, and things are happening, and we're seeing transactions, there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
And where those benefits come, it really comes down to you. I don't want to say own, but you now own, I'm going to say it, the traffic. So you can do a lot of strategies with those that are at your site. So you can put Facebook pixels on there. You can do a ton of different types of creative retargeting to those people. If you build the site correctly, you can have them, you know who's looking at homes in a certain quadrant of your city. So now I can retarget ads that are talking about that quadrant of the city. And there's just a lot of creative things you can do to put yourself back in front of those people, because now you know who is already raising their hands.
Yeah.
So these are now people who have raised their hands. They did an action. They came to my website, and now every month, every day, like I was looking at numbers before, in about a 30-minute, just before we jumped on here, in a 30-minute time frame, there was over 200 pages that were viewed in those 30 minutes.
Wow.
And those are not 200 people because
Yeah,
there's
for
multiple
sure.
pages, but
Multiple
let's break it
sessions.
down and yeah, multiple sessions or multiple pages on
Pages.
a single session.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that just those are opportunities, and I hate forced click
Yeah.
or forced registration.
Mhm.
Like, if you have to force somebody to register on your website, uh, what you're doing is it's kind of like it's called gated content.
Yes.
So online, there's this whole world of gated content, and what I believe I think differs from a lot of others. Um, Gated content, I think agents think that gated content is a listing. So
Okay.
you have to register to get this information.
Mhm.
But the problem is they can go out elsewhere and get that info.
Mhm.
So is it really yours to block? Is it yours to gate?
Mhm.
So then you have to kind of be more creative and say, well, what other types of content, what other types of things, the service, the experience, whatever it is, the gated content that they're looking for.
Mhm.
I believe listings at this point in the day of age in the digital world
Yeah.
are not gated content. So if
Mhm.
you're forcing someone to register, you're just pissing them off.
Mhm. Mhm.
So now, if you're frustrating a user coming to your website and you start seeing a lot of fake emails, fake phone numbers, F names that say F you,
Yeah.
then you like that's not the right experience
Yeah.
that they should have.
Uh-huh.
So let them look, like, but you want them to come back, so because you don't want to lose them. So we were talking because we just started adding Smart Alto to our site about a week ago, and we were talking about. I think it was you and I, Hassan. We were talking about what was it? Oh, like, oh, maybe it was someone else. Regardless, we were talking about like when a web chat comes on, and if they're actually starting to chat with them online, um, like what can you do to force them to get their info to make it happen and whatever. But what I realized is in past chat systems, when I was manually managing it,
Mhm.
I don't suggest that. When you
Mhm.
have a high flow of people, it's not a good conversion rate. Let
Uh-huh.
me just say that.
Yeah.
Um, and so by doing that, I noticed that someone would come, the chat would pop up probably 7 to 10 times
Wow.
before they asked a question. And I would scroll up and see all of these chat pop-ups prior to them saying something.
Mhm.
And so it just made me realize that the more that you freely give the content that they are looking for,
Mhm.
online buyers want it when they want it, how they want it, everything. Like they know everything about everything, and so you give it to them, give
Mhm.
them what they want.
Mhm.
Like there's why hide it?
Yeah.
But position yourself to be there when they're ready and they have questions. And they're going to look at you as an expert, and that's also how you move them through a know, like, and trust.
Mhm.
They know you, they know the site, they know the brand, they like it because it's not forcing them to do anything. They're going to come back. Oh, sorry. And from there, then they're going to trust you.
Yeah.
And that's when they're going to ask those questions online.
Yeah. Yeah, we really are in a time and an age of on-demand everything. On-demand content from Netflix, from Hulu, on-demand rides, from Uber and Lyft, on-demand food with
Yo, yeah.
Postmates. I think who just bought Postmates? Have you ever heard of Postmates?
I've heard of
It's like
it.
on,
It's not here.
it's like
Yeah.
on demand. It's like on-demand delivery food, and I think someone just bought them for like $2 billion something.
Oh, yes, I
Like
did see
a
that
really big
somewhere.
acquisition. I don't know if it was Uber, it was someone, right? And so
Yeah.
so you have all of this. um you have
Was
to
it
be.
Amazon?
I don't know, I can't remember who it was.
Sorry, I just remember
No,
seeing
yeah,
something for 2.8
Uber.
and
Uber. Bonnie said it was Uber.
was it Uber?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. I think that makes sense, Bonnie. And so you have all these things on. You have to be really thoughtful about the experience that you want to create for people, because the
Yeah.
the experience is one of the things that can differentiate you from everyone else. So one of the things we talk about in with conversion for ultimately setting appointments, when you have a new online lead, whether someone coming to your website or someone who responded to a Facebook ad, a Zillow ad, whatever, When those people come, what experience are they expecting, and how can Smart Alto help deliver upon that experience? What we talk
Yeah.
about is you make a promise, deliver on the promise. I made a promise to you that I'm going to be available for you, answering your questions and ultimately helping you set an appointment. So, if that's the promise I made, if that's the goal, what strategy are we going to use to ultimately deliver upon that goal, deliver upon that promise? Because what you have is that over 50% of home buyers, when they go to Zillow, Realtor.com, your website, etc., and they
Yeah.
request information from you, no one responds to them.
Yes.
It's just this
It's
big gaping
yeah.
hole. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no, I was going to say, and it is a big gaping hole. And I think, especially when you have a site that's allowing people to look,
Yeah.
they're kind of expecting you to respond,
Hmm.
expecting you to be available.
Hmm.
And so there's an expectation, especially now post COVID or during COVID, whatever we're in right now.
Hmm.
Um, there's this, people are more comfortable with online stuff.
Yeah.
People are more comfortable with digital things.
Hmm.
And so being
Yeah. So I'm gonna take a little quick check right here and take a look at some of the questions that we have coming in. Make sure if you have questions, make sure to ask them throughout the conversation because I'm kind of guiding the conversation. Honestly, thinking of asking Jared some things I want to know, but
yeah,
I have some
totally.
things that you may want to know too. So Sheila said, "What website provider are you using, and why did you make that choice?" So you've been in the business for a long time, a lot of different
Yeah.
tools out there. Why did you choose who you choose, who you chose?
So, kind of a short history. So,
Hmm.
again, we started with a lot of those uh, essentially pay-per-click type sites, and decided to move away from them, from Commissions Inc. and Boomtowns and those types of platforms. We moved over to Sierra.
Okay.
Sierra Interactive
Hmm.
was our first dive in. We were able to do a lot of custom work on it,
Yeah.
figure it out. And so about a year, no, not even a year, was December. So in December, we actually made a switch. So last year, we built our Sierra site, our main chamberlaingroup.ca was our website. That was a Sierra site we
Hmm.
built it up to probably nearly 40,000 people coming. It was great. But then what happened is Sierra ended up changing. Oh, my camera.
Yep.
See, what time is it?
It
What
is.
time
It's
is it?
127.
I told you.
Okay,
Dumb
so
camera lasts for half an
I
hour.
got a little bit on this inside joke. So one of the things that we're talking about is so for those of you who know me and you've seen my seen my content, you kind of follow me online, you know that I have this like studio at home, right? So I have a a studio light here, 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 and then I also have my SD my camera here, right? And it's a Canon. These cameras, these high-end cameras were not made for streaming. And
Yeah.
so when you buy one and you want to use it for streaming, you can make a mistake on your purchase. I'm looking at a $700 mistake of a camera that I bought that's right over there until ultimately found the SDLR that I have, which is a good camera. But Jared, his camera that he bought that now he uses for streaming, every 30 minutes it cuts off because
The
the
battery shuts
the
off
c-
or turns it
it
off.
turns it
Yeah.
off because the camera is thinking I'm just sitting idle, no one's using it, I'm just
Yeah.
wasting battery power, let me shut off. And so he told me that he said, look, at 127 Eastern it's going to cut off, and that's exactly what happened. So
And that's what
I
happened.
was like,
So if you're looking for a streaming DSLR,
yeah,
don't get a Canon
yeah.
70D. There's your plug. Go with whatever you have. So
SL2.
SL2. There you go. Okay. So what was I saying? What were we talking about?
What were we talking about? We were talking about, oh
Oh,
yeah, so we
provider.
yeah, providers,
Yeah. So
you
so
switched from
then so
Sierra to
then what happened was, so we were Sierra Interactive. Last spring they changed their how their listing pages worked, and how they looked. And so for us, we were kind of building things off of how it was. And then they made a change without telling us, and all of a sudden our traffic started dropping because they made a change to the website that we didn't know was coming, and we weren't able to prepare for it. So we made a decision. We actually had three Sierra sites. Two of them were still some pay-per-click driven.
Mhm.
And we actually kept those ones because our team really likes the back end of Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of have a little bit of a problem now. But then we moved over to Real Estate Webmasters,
Yeah.
and we started building the site. It's not fast in terms of getting stuff done. It's not cheap. It is expensive. But I've built the team that I have around me also is advising as we're building this site.
Yeah.
So we've been able to I would highly suggest not doing it on your own if you don't know what you're doing, if you're going to build a site with REW, because your costs can just go up super, super fast.
Yeah.
And then now through the process, we've figured out how to talk to a developer directly and do these things and get stuff done. And it's taken a while to get it, but that's where we're at. So,
Yeah. So you had Sierra as a site,
yep.
and now you have REW as your site for your IDX, but Sierra as the back end for the CRM. And so now you got to figure out
For
how
the
to
most part,
how to make
yeah.
all
And
these technologies.
we still have the Sierra sites going.
Okay.
I'm not driving a ton of pay-per-click to them,
Okay.
but we have probably 20,000, 25,000 people on the back end of Sierra who are still searching. So I'll still have 300 or so users coming a day
Okay.
to our Sierra sites because they're searching on the back end of stuff.
Got
So
it. Yeah.
so we can still, even with that number of traffic, we can still retarget it. We can
Yeah.
still put ourselves in front of
For
them,
sure.
and we're doing that too. So
Is Smart Alto connected to your Sierra site? Is that how we're getting your
no,
not your
it's just the REW site.
okay, so we're only on the REW site for website, your website
Yeah,
traffic, and then with the text messaging follow up and lead conversion, that's coming
that's all through
that's all
Sierra.
coming through Sierra. Okay, that's all coming through
Yeah,
Sierra.
so we've got kind of two things talking different ways and whatever.
Got it. So Tyler said you mentioned SEO. What strategies do you recommend to boost SEO results? I want to so answer that question and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that onion back a little bit. Good question, Tyler.
So I guess I think the way to answer that is actually inside of the PDF. So in that link that you posted there,
Yeah.
there is, and this is kind of our journey that we went through in terms of digital marketing, and I think a great way to answer that is because SEO, when people think of it, they kind of say, well, what are the 5 things I can go do consistently that are just going to pop the site and it's going to work?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't in my learnings, it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like let's just use a house as an example. You have to build the foundation properly,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can start building the house, and then you can have a party. But you can't just say, "Hey guys, come on over to my hole in the ground," because there's no foundation yet. And so that's like a man living it. That's like what's Chris Farley living in the van down by the river or something like that.
Yeah.
And so no one likes your van by the river. So what you need to do is there's a journey that everyone's kind of gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 5 stages that everyone's gone through as well. And that first stage is content creation. A lot of times when we're starting down this road of online marketing is we're like, well, let's create content. Let's just throw it out there. We'll maybe do some blog posts. Maybe we'll do some social media posts. And then you move into social media channels and you start pushing those out in different areas. And you usually create that to share the content that you want to create or the little tidbits of information. And sometimes you're not even creating your own content. You're just grabbing others' content and just sharing it as well.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is when they click through to it, where are they going? Oh,
Yeah.
not good. You want them to come to you. You start realizing, like, well, maybe I should boost some ads because I don't know how to actual pay ads in the back end of any of these platforms. So you just start boosting ads. Well, it can work within a reason, but it's a lot of wasted money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, well, I'm going to learn paid ads and go through that and start building that stuff. And then you finally go, well, let's just SEO it and start figuring it out.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with all of these 5 stages is that they all help each other and they're all important.
Yeah.
So I can't just jump to my search engine optimization if I don't have content that can go on the site.
Yeah.
But if I don't understand how paid ads work and I can't retarget that traffic, my search engine optimization is going to be tough too.
Yeah.
So if we really want to peel the onion back, we going to our site last spring. As of December, we made a switch to a new site.
Yeah.
Now, all the URLs changed, everything changed on it. So Google's like, this is weird. And our traffic actually dipped probably to 9,000 a month.
Wow, you had to be freaking out.
Like,
you had to be freaking
yep.
out. Yeah.
Well, we did it intentionally over Christmas because we knew it's slow typically. We really boosted PPC just so we'd have some people to talk to on the other side. So I was freaking out.
With all that said, yes, I was freaking out.
Yes, I was freaking out. And then we're learning a new provider. We're learning, how do we work with REW? How do we build this with them? How do we work with their developer and their project managers? Which I hope no one's a project manager who's watching this, but I don't like project managers. Just let me talk to the developer. But we learned all this stuff going through that. And then right when COVID started, March 15th was the date for us, because that's when I got told my kids were not going to school tomorrow, and I was like, "What the?"
That's what it
was okay, and I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" Yeah. And I kid you not, that week was when we were like, "Our site is ready. We're ready to go." Wow. I'm like, is the world falling apart and now my site's ready? And it was crazy. So when I'm talking about SEO, it's a combination of things. And so during COVID, this is like a side plug, I guess, in some ways, but during COVID, I ended up talking with the team that I have around me and said, guys, why don't we start to do other people too? Like other agents who are really wanting to dive in and invest money up front for future growth and do that, who have that that cash to do that, like we have done. I now have I have the leverage, and I can actually do something with it, and it's going to grow our team, it's going to grow the sales, it's going to grow all of these things because we've invested a lot in the front end. And that is why so many people go to PPC. It's easy. Well, if it like, it's kind of like, all I can think of is Warren Buffett's quote. I think it's him. When the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming naked. Right? And at this point, people who have just been doing pay-per-click, it was cheaper for a bit because not as many people were doing it. Everyone stopped, and it's gotten more expensive again. So now the strategies have to change. But the traffic is always there. But also during COVID, so all that to say is we created a side company called Cabin Fever Marketing, because it was idea happened during COVID, and we were all having cabin fever. So we're like, hey, Cabin Fever Marketing. So Cabin Fever Marketing is essentially a side thing where if someone's interested and wants to do this is kind of what we're doing on the side. And I just did a blog post last week that actually talks about how we built our, we essentially just over tripled the traffic to our site during COVID in 3 months. Wow. And so we went from that roughly 10,000 users. We were low as a couple hundred a day. 285 was our lowest day or something like that. To, I think the highest day in the last 2 weeks was just shy of 1,600 people coming to the site in that day. And it's not a one-fold thing. It's content. It's pushing it out to an email list. It's building some really great retargeting ads. So we still had traffic, but I wanted more traffic to come, and I wanted them to come back. It's also building the foundation of your opinion now is the foundation. It's how things are set up, and then it's kind of like pushing it when you need it. Different levers, different things, different. And I think that's the frustrating most for business owners who want the result quick. but aren't willing to take the time to build the foundation.
Got it.
And for us, I believe that building that foundation is super, super important, because once it's built, it's built.
Yeah.
And you can just now make the foundation stronger and stronger and stronger, but you can also start pushing levers and making things happen.
Hmm.
And so now you can add on a plugin like Smart Alto. We can now add on retargeting. We can add on these things
Hmm.
because the foundation is strong, and it's just going to leverage it. So,
Yeah. So one of the things that really stands out to me when I have a conversation with you, and I've shared this with you privately, is that you have a lot of people who really don't think about their business as a business. They don't have an Inc.
right.
mindset. They
Yeah.
say, well, this is just something I'm doing. But you are a business owner who happens to be in real estate, right? You're a business owner
Right.
who has chosen to be in real estate, as opposed to a person who is a real estate agent who simply thinks about themselves as I sell homes. I think your the way you believe and way you think about your business, your North Star is like more ambitious than that, and it comes through
Mm.
very clearly when someone has a conversation with you. Talk to, I think Shane. Hold on, let me address Shane 1 second. Shane, so if you are streaming right now and you're watching me through the Real Estate Marketing Mastermind group, the very first comment has the link in the PDF that Jared was just talking about. So if you click on that and you open it up, like I have it on my phone right here, right? You will be able to see these different sections where he talks about content creation, social media channels, boosting ads, paid ads, search engine optimization. So you will be able to see all of that stuff. So to pivot back, um, it's and I share this with people, all the time, that there is no like lazy man's way to riches. Right?
No.
There is not. There is no
No.
there is seed time and harvest. And there's no technology out there that's going to make you successful. What technology does, even Smart Alto, I share this with people when I talk to them, whether I'm on stage speaking at NAR or speaking at Inman, or I'm having a one-to-one conversation with people. I say, listen, Smart Alto is not going to make you successful. Smart Alto helps successful people become more successful more quickly. With Smart Alto, you can get leverage in your business. Things that you may have been doing yourself very poorly because you didn't have the time to consistently follow up. Now you give Smart Alto those leads, and we can ultimately qualify them and set 15-minute phone appointments for you so that you can grow your business, getting more leverage in your business. But if you don't think of yourself as a business owner and you're just like
Yeah.
a person who wants to run an ad, then you're going to have a tough time zigging when everyone else zags, and you're going to have a tough time ultimately growing your business and reaching your goals.
Yeah.
Um, what getting a little tactical, Jared, when you take a look at your Google Analytics and you
Yeah.
say and you take a look at behaviors and landing pages, what pages on your site actually get the most traffic? What types of pages? Is it like people are searching for school districts or those landing pages?
Hmm.
Is it like what types of stuff get the most engagement?
Yeah. Um, I think the types of pages, to answer that directly, a combination of, well, and it's a mixture, because we're also driving people to certain pages too, right?
Hmm.
So if someone looks at a listing in the northwest quadrant of our city,
Hmm.
they're going to get retargeted with ads saying, hey, you might have missed this house that just got listed in the northwest part of the city. So then
Hmm.
they go to the northwest page.
Hmm.
So we're driving a lot of traffic, because what do buyers want? They want to look at houses.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's what they want. So give them what they want and have a really good experience. So that's why we don't keep it gated. It's go look at it, and it's not forced registration. And I think those are the types of sites, the pages that people are engaging with.
Hmm.
Now you can have good content, you can
Hmm.
have good hooks that get them in,
Hmm.
like highest keywords that we're ranking for right now, what like open houses. So like open house, it's probably searched almost 7,000 times a month in our city.
Wow.
So we are up in the top for that. There's certain, again, it has to tie like homes for sale in, um, those or like if they're searching. So we actually rank for like high schools in Calgary, I think
Mm,
is one of them
mm,
as well. But again, that's just a list of these high schools. Now, it's going to take a lot of energy, but I could go around and start making customized searches for all those homes around those high schools. Now, that would leverage that search even better.
mhm.
Is that the best use of time? Maybe, or maybe it's a VA job, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's looking at all of these things and what makes sense. Ultimately, people want to look at houses.
Mhm.
So the simple answer to that took a long time to get to is listings
Yeah.
is on houses.
Mhm.
So you can't, yeah, so I can't just say it's just houses because it's a combination, but that's
Yeah.
I have the experience looking at houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Amanda asked you a question, Jared. She said, other than Facebook ads, how are you driving traffic to your website? Did you mention that you use Facebook ads? I know you mentioned PPC.
yeah, I just said ads in general. So I might have said Facebook, but what we're doing is um, so so right now we're doing display network through Google with retargeting.
Got it.
We're using that quite a bit. We are using Facebook as a way for retargeting ads.
Mhm.
Um, we actually just catalog for all the listings in the brokerage in our team
Yeah.
because our team is our brokerage. So we figured out the catalog inside of Facebook, and we're going to start leveraging that more.
Yeah.
Um, there's again, it's organic. We do email marketing
Mhm.
out to people who have signed up on our sites and things like that. So we probably have a list of 13,000 people that'll get kind of an email on an ongoing basis.
Mhm.
Somewhat consistent. I haven't been consistent in the last month. I will
Yeah.
confess to that. But again, I got to build that out so it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But those are probably a lot of it. The main things plus just organic searches, people looking for stuff and finding stuff.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Let me do a little time check right here. We got a couple more minutes left with Jerry. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them now before we head off. A couple of more minutes before we head off. Be sure to ask those questions. So, you've had a really um, I think your career and your path in real estate has been colorful, let me say. And I think in order to be in business for a long time, you're going to go through some challenges, you're going to go through some growing
Yeah,
pains. What would you say to someone who they are they run a team?
yeah,
Maybe COVID has kind of threw them for a loop, but they got people to
yeah,
feed, not only the families at home, but also a real estate
yeah,
business and agents on their team. And they're really thinking, you know what? I do have a budget, Jerry. I have about $500 to $1,000 I can spend on ads every single month. I do have a
yeah.
website. I'm trying to figure out how I can grow my business, right? So, what would you tell them? What advice would you share? What strategies would you kind of share to somebody like that who may be having a little difficult time right now during COVID?
Yeah, I think the thing that made the biggest difference for us in tripling traffic and coming out, and we're just going to keep going in terms of numbers and people coming in. Uh, we want to take the time and learn it. Probably Facebook retargeting, putting Facebook pixels on your site, learning how to filter them through, create little siphons, create your own little folders, if you want to call it that, and start building ads that are pulling people back
Yeah,
to the site. Because then they're gonna start seeing you more, and they're gonna start coming back to the site, and I think that is one of those things for sure in terms of the traffic,
yeah,
as well as just creating, take the time and look at some of the interesting little communities you have in your city. Look at like a hot list of homes every week.
hmm
Look at something people like buyers buy with emotion.
mm
So create content that evokes emotion.
Mm-hmm.
What are the most expensive neighborhoods in the house? People always love to just, is it Google, whatever it is, over, over like these big, massive houses, or like what are the most expensive condos, penthouses, or whatever it is, right? Create content that people are drooling over, but it allows them to still interact with your brand and send emails
Mm-hmm.
to your people that way every week. And I think one of the things, there might be questions, I don't have it in front of me, but one of the things that you mentioned was business owner.
Yeah.
And I think some of the best advice I have gotten recently is twofold. A coach years ago said, um, like, you can't look at life as a watch and it's ticking down, like the clock is ticking. Figure out how you can look at life as more of a compass. Look at a direction, where are you going, and start focusing that way. And I think the longevity in real estate can be really wearing, but always kind of have a plan of where you can go with it. And this is part of our plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know Dan Sullivan, who is a coach, and he said to me the other, or like a couple months ago, or 6-8 months ago, start looking at your life in 25-year increments, and think that you're going to live to 100. And as an entrepreneur, start breaking it down. These are your quarters of your life, and nothing has to happen quickly. And so it encouraged me to kind of go, let's build that foundation stronger. Let's take the time to do it, because if it takes me a year to build that foundation strong, the next 20 years are going to be kick-ass. And I think it allowed it kind of, there's always that pressure, like you said, like, I got to feed this person, I got to do this, I got to do, and I think we always feel this heaviness always sitting over us, and I think we kind of have to feel it, but not react to it, and that,
Yeah.
but allow it to be there,
Yeah.
but use it as time, and I'm going to do things right. I'm not going to look for a silver bullet. I'm not going to look for the quick things. I'm just going to do it right.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it is really important.
Yeah. Great. We got a couple more questions here for you. Danny, hey, what's going on, Danny? Good to see you, buddy. Danny said, is there an automated way to do the retargeting, or do you have to manually do it? And is that something that, this is my question, is that something that Cabin Fever Marketing does as well? Are you running Facebook
We
ads?
could. Yeah. I mean, it's something that we can do for sure. It's setting it up to start, and then it's letting it flow. So it's something that you kind of have to set it up and manage. Automated ways. I'm sure I don't know what programs are out there. I just look at it and go, if I don't understand it, I don't really want to do it. I want to figure it out and understand how it fits. So there's a lot of these Y Lopos. There's all these different things. And if there's someone that says to me, well, your area is gone, I look at it and go, no, thanks. My area is always available. And so
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. And it's kind of like, okay, well, let's figure that out. So.
Thank you for that, man. So Anthony, hey, what's going on, Anthony? Good to see you, buddy. He said, I'm experiencing an increase in organic results from blogging and Facebook ads. Good for you. What's the
Cool.
best way to increase the SEO, blogging and PPC, or retargeting and focusing on creating backlinks, or maybe it's all of the above, as you're talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, things are always changing with Google. If you do things wrong, really hurt you and I'm not like this SEO specialist. I believe in my world, I'm going to surround myself with who's that are way better than I am, but I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And so what I've heard and learned from the team that I have around me, is backlinks can be good and bad, because it really depends on where they're coming from. But there's a plugin that you can add to Google Chrome. I use Firefox mainly, but it's called Keywords Everywhere, a keyword tool. And so that's something, if you want to start looking at the number of people that are searching certain keywords, that's worthwhile. Whenever I go and do a Google search, it'll actually show me how many per month are searching that.
Yeah.
So so you could play with that and start building out your titles, your meta descriptions and meta titles, the H1 titles. Start being creative with that. Make sure that keyword is in your first paragraph,
Hmm.
and just kind of building it out that way. Also having an image that has the alt ways to build things that help it go last longer. So a blog post that I created in January, like the 9 most expensive neighborhoods in Calgary.
Mm.
And I actually think when you search locally, you might not be able to find it when you search where you are because Google is giving local
Yeah.
results.
Yeah.
But it ended up turning into a featured snippet, and it lists out the 9 points. When you're here locally, it does. And then in there, the top two, I created an actual what you call IDX feed, so that there's always listings from the top two most expensive
Got it.
communities in the blog
Got
post.
it.
So now the content is
Fresh.
fresh and it's not old listings, it's actually what's there.
Wow.
So
That's very
uh,
creative, insightful too.
yeah, so it's little things like that that help people when they find it
Hmm.
to be able to still interact with it. Again, people want to look at houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that. Really thoughtful answer and really insightful strategy, trick, snippet there. I hope everybody caught that. It's pretty tight. So, Rob said it's really hard to hear me. Hey, Jared, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Is everybody else? I'm wondering because we're about to finish now. I'm wondering.
It's too late.
I think you've been hearing me okay, so hopefully everybody's been hearing me okay throughout the presentation. Hey, Will, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you doing? Great to see you. Appreciate it. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, that is. Anthony said that's brilliant. He said that's brilliant,
Cool.
Jared. So you got it
Oh
brilliant,
yeah, you're
man.
welcome.
I think it's I think you're a hit, man. So how can
I,
everyone
I wear the
reach you?
glasses to make me look more brilliant. So I'm getting older, so you got to wear them now. So I feel like I look smarter now, finally. So it's good.
Yeah, you do. You do. You look brilliant. You're like Einstein without the hair. Um, hey, so how can people reach out to you if people wanted to kind of reach out to you, send you a message through email,
Yeah,
whatever? How can people get
yeah.
in touch with
I
you?
mean, I'll post in the comments here as well. But in my direct email is just jared@chamberlaingroup.ca.
Hmm.
You can go to cabinfevermarketing.com for looking around over there. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Everywhere.
Just search. Hopefully, you search my name
Yeah.
and I come up. That's the plan. So
Easy. Easy got to find, and if you can't find him, then you can obviously you're in the real estate marketing mastermind group. You can find me, so reach out to me, and I'll make a personal introduction to Jared.
yeah,
So, again, my name is Hassan Riggs. You've been listening to the Real Estate Marketing Mastermind Facebook group. We talk about 2 cents, different ways to grow your real estate business. There he is.
see, 57.
57. I love it. That's so funny. To grow your real estate business. If you are interested in learning more about Smart Alto, go to smartalto.com. Ultimately, what we do is when you generate new online real estate leads, my company, Smart Alto, I am the founder and CEO. We qualify those leads for you and set 15-minute phone appointments on your calendar. We do that for 600 agents all around the US and Canada. And it's a way for you to get leverage in your business. So if you have a team, you're growing, and you are already investing money in marketing, but you don't have the time to consistently follow up with your new online leads, then reach out to Smart Alto because I'll be sure that someone on my team kind of reaches back out and we're able to help you grow and take your business to the next level. I hope that you have enjoyed having this conversation with Jared. Please, everyone, say thank you, Jared. Appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. I hope my 2 cents was
Yeah,
worth it
two
today.
cents.
Yeah, it's a
No,
lot of time, so I
yeah,
appreciate everyone watching.
yeah. You've been fantastic. Don't forget if you want to reach out to Jared, you can reach out to him. You can visit Cabin Fever Marketing. You can also reach out in the Facebook group. So
Yeah, and chamberlaingroup.ca is our main website for our team and brokerage. So
chamberlaingroup.ca as well. So
.ca, yeah.
thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. You have been listening to 2 Cents. My name is Hassan Ridds, coming directly to you from Washington, D.C., and I'm out. Peace.